This video did not exist until you directed your attention toward it. Is it possible that the entire universe operates in the exact same way? Think about it. Have you ever wondered why it is physically impossible for most people to tickle themselves? Science says it is because your brain predicts the sensation, cancelling out the surprise. But in the realm of quantum psychology, this biological quirk points to a massive metaphysical truth. If you can tickle yourself, or if you constantly feel surprised, shocked, or victimized by your own life events, it is a profound sign. It means the observer and the observed within you are not fully integrated. Today we are going to dive into the core of the quantum field and the observer effect. By the end of this transmission, you will finally understand your true, unbridled power as the ultimate creator of your reality. Tell me, have you ever felt like you are fighting against a world that you are supposedly creating? To understand this profound split within yourself, we must first look at the invisible architecture of our universe. In esoteric and quantum traditions, the world around you is not a fixed, solid reality. It is a vibrating quantum field, an infinite ocean of probability waves. Every possible outcome, every reality, exists right now in a state of pure potential. These possibilities remain suspended as invisible waves until a conscious observer looks at them. But observation is not just seeing with your physical eyes. Observation is a highly active, magnetic process. It is the focused beam of your consciousness, your beliefs, and your energetic signature. When you observe, you force that infinite wave of potential to collapse into a single, localized physical event. You are not a passive witness in a random universe. You are the projector, the light, and the screen all at once. But what happens when the projector is out of alignment with the light? That is where the fragmentation begins. Let us return to the paradox of the tickle. When a normal person tries to tickle their own ribs, the mind sends a command to the hand and simultaneously sends a prediction to the body. The creator of the action and the experiencer of the action are one. They are perfectly integrated in real time. Because there is absolute unity between the observer and the observed, there is no shock, no chaos, and no involuntary reaction. But when you are energetically fragmented, you become like a person who can tickle themselves. You generate thoughts, emotions, and actions, but your experiencing self feels completely disconnected from the source of those actions. You manifest situations into your life, but when they arrive, they feel alien, uninvited, or even hostile. This happens because the conscious mind that desires a beautiful outcome is completely divorced from the subconscious mind that is running the actual observation. You are split in two. This internal division is the hidden reason why so many people struggle with manifestation and the law of attraction. You might be visualizing wealth, perfect health, or profound love. You are trying to be the conscious observer of a new reality. But deep down, the other half of you, the part that actually absorbs and feels reality, is waiting to be disappointed. You are projecting one signal, but bracing for a completely different impact. In the quantum field, this creates a state of destructive interference. Your waves of probability are literally cancelling each other out. The field does not respond to what you merely want. The field responds to who you are being. And if you are being a divided entity, if the observer who commands the universe is terrified of the observed reality it might receive, the universe can only deliver confusion. To fix your external world, you must first mend this invisible fracture within your own consciousness. But what if I tell you that this separation is an absolute illusion? From the moment we are born into this three-dimensional space, we are deeply conditioned to believe in duality. We are taught that there is an in here and an out there. We believe that our thoughts are trapped inside our skulls, and the physical world is a hard, unforgiving place outside of us, entirely separate from our minds. This is the greatest deception of human existence. The truth, hidden in plain sight by ancient mystics and modern quantum mechanics, is that the inner and the outer are the exact same fabric. The world out there is merely the dense, materialized reflection of your internal state. When you view the world as separate from you, you give away your power to it. You become a victim of circumstances, constantly reacting to a reality you forgot you created. You must realize that the observer and the observed are simply two ends of the same quantum string. To heal this split, we must master the art of collapsing the wave function with intentional coherence. When your mind and your heart are in opposition, your reality becomes a chaotic mess of mixed manifestations. Your mind is the electrical charge in the quantum field. It sends out the signal of what you want to experience. But your heart, your emotional center, is the magnetic pull. It draws the event back to you. If your mind is broadcasting success, but your emotional body is vibrating with the fear of failure, you are sending a scattered, incoherent signal into the infinite field. The field cannot bring you a unified, beautiful reality because you are not a unified, beautiful frequency. Integration means aligning your thoughts and your emotions so perfectly that there is zero doubt in your body. When the electrical thought and the magnetic emotion match perfectly, you create a laser beam of consciousness that collapses reality instantly and accurately. You can always measure your level of internal integration by paying close attention to synchronicity. Synchronicity is not a series of random coincidences or lucky breaks. It is the direct, real-time feedback loop from the quantum field. When the observer and the observed are beginning to merge within you, the external world starts to behave like a lucid dream. You think of a person, and they call you. You need an answer, and a stranger says the exact words you needed to hear. You see repeating numbers everywhere you look. These are not just fun little signs. They are mathematical proof that your internal frequency is harmonizing with the external grid of reality. The lag time between your inner thought and outer manifestation is shrinking. When you experience high levels of synchronicity, it means the boundary between you and the universe is dissolving. You are no longer tickling yourself and acting surprised. You are consciously moving the energy. So how do we begin the fix? The first step to total quantum integration is what we call radical awareness. You must start catching yourself in the exact moment of separation. Throughout your day, notice when you complain about the weather, the traffic, or the behavior of other people. Every single time you complain, you are violently separating the observer from the observed. You are declaring to the universe, "I did not create this. This is happening to me, and I am a victim of it." This immediately drops your frequency and shatters your manifestation power. Radical awareness means taking absolute, uncompromising responsibility for everything in your field of vision. Even if your logical mind cannot understand how you created a specific negative event, you must adopt the metaphysical stance that it came from you. By owning the creation, you instantly reclaim the power to uncreate it. You pull the energy back into your center. The second step of the fix requires somatic integration. Your body is the physical manifestation of your subconscious mind. It holds onto every past trauma, every limiting belief, and every fear you have ever experienced. You can repeat positive affirmations in your head all day long, but if your body is tense, contracted, and vibrating with anxiety, the quantum field will only read the frequency of your body. To integrate the observer and the observed, you must bring your conscious awareness deep into your physical vessel. You must sit quietly and feel the internal state of your body without judging it. When you feel a block, a tightness in your chest, or a knot in your stomach, do not run from it. Send your conscious breath directly into that space. By observing the tension neutrally, you collapse the old, stagnant wave of energy. You dissolve the trapped emotions, allowing your physical body to finally align with your newly chosen quantum frequency. This leads us to the power of neutral observation, which is the third step of the fix. Human beings are addicted to judgment. We label everything as good or bad, right or wrong, success or failure. But the quantum field itself is entirely neutral. It has no judgment. It only has reflection. When you judge a situation as terrible, you lock that reality into place with a dense emotional charge. You guarantee that you will experience more of it. Neutral observation is the ultimate state of the creator. It means looking at your current reality, no matter how unwanted it may be, and simply saying, "This is what I have materialized up to this point. It is just energy." When you remove the emotional charge of judgment, you unlock the rigid structure of that reality. It becomes fluid again. It turns back into a wave of probability, ready to be molded into something entirely new by your next focused, elevated thought. You must also understand the concept of time in the third dimension. Many people begin to integrate their consciousness. They align their thoughts and emotions, but when their physical reality does not change within 24 hours, they panic. They split themselves again by doubting the process. You must remember that physical matter is dense. It is frozen light. It takes time for the massive gears of the material world to catch up to the instant changes in your quantum frequency. This delay is not a punishment. It is a buffer of protection. Imagine if every fleeting, negative, terrifying thought you had instantly materialized in front of you. The world would be a nightmare. The time delay is a gift that allows you to course correct. During this waiting period, your job is to hold the integrated state. You must remain the observer of the new reality, even when the old reality is still playing out on the screen in front of you. To maintain this state, you have to let go of living in your past memories. The vast majority of humanity wakes up every single morning and immediately plugs their consciousness into the past. They remember their problems, they remember who they are angry at, and they remember their limitations. Biologically and quantumly, they are observing the exact same wave function they observed yesterday. Therefore, their today becomes a perfect, predictable clone of their yesterday. To integrate the observer and a new desired observed reality, you must become intimately familiar with a future that has not yet happened. You must practice feeling the gratitude, the relief, and the joy of your manifestation before it arrives in the physical world. Your brain and your body do not know the difference between a real event and an event created purely by thought alone. When you sustain this future emotion, you literally pull that specific timeline toward you. This is where the concept of letting go of the how becomes absolutely crucial. When you try to micromanage exactly how your manifestation will arrive, you are operating from the limited, logical mind. You are trying to predict the quantum field using past data. This creates tension and separation. The integrated creator knows what they want. They feel the reality of it in their body, and then they completely surrender the mechanism of delivery to the infinite intelligence of the field. The universe has millions of variables and pathways that your conscious mind could never even fathom. When you let go of the how, you set out of the way, you stop creating resistance. You trust that the observer and the observed are already connected in the unseen realms, and that the physical bridge between them is currently being built in the most perfect and efficient way possible. Surrender is not giving up. It is the highest form of active trust. Let us explore how this looks in your everyday alchemy. True quantum integration does not just happen while you are meditating with your eyes closed. It must happen while you are walking, talking, and breathing in the world. When you drink a glass of water, do not just swallow it absent-mindedly. Be the conscious observer of the water. Feel its frequency entering your body and upgrading your cells. When you speak to a person, realize you are speaking to another aspect of the quantum field, reflecting back to you. Listen to the words you use. Are you speaking from a place of unity and power, or are you speaking from a place of separation and lack? The integrated master treats every mundane moment as a holy act of creation. They know that there are no neutral moments. You are either collapsing reality toward your highest timeline, or you are collapsing it back down into the chaotic, fragmented patterns of your past. Choose your focus wisely. As you practice this integration daily, you will begin to notice a profound shift in your identity. You will no longer identify as a small, isolated human being trying to survive in a vast, random universe. You will start to realize that you are the universe experiencing itself through a localized point of awareness. This is the ultimate death of the ego. The ego thrives on separation. It needs an enemy, it needs a problem, and it needs to feel disconnected to survive. When the observer and the observed fully merge, the ego loses its grip. You enter a state of deep, unshakable peace. You realize that there is nothing to fight, nothing to force, and nothing to fear, because everything you see is simply you. You become the conscious architect of reality itself. In this state of total wholeness, healing happens spontaneously, abundance flows naturally, and the struggles of your old life fade away like a distant, forgotten dream. This frequency of wholeness is the ultimate fix for the Tickle paradox we started with. When you are fully integrated, there are no more shocking surprises from the universe that leave you feeling victimized. Even when unexpected challenges arise, you do not panic. You view them from a state of neutral observation, recognizing them as old energy clearing out of your field or as necessary stepping stones on the path to your manifestation. You remain anchored in your center. You know that whatever happens in the observed world is entirely manageable because you are the one generating the observation. The separation collapses completely. You are no longer divided. You have mastered the quantum secret. The illusion of distance between what you desire and who you are vanishes. You do not just attract reality anymore. You literally emanate it from the core of your unified being. This is your true nature. Consider the profound implications of this realization on your physical health. When the observer within you views the body as a separate, failing machine, you enforce the reality of illness. You lock the cells into a state of decay through your constant, fearful attention. But when integration occurs, you recognize that your body is a dynamic, quantum hologram. It is renewing itself millions of times every single second. By changing your observation, you change the biological instruction set. You can observe your body back into a state of perfect harmony and vibrant health. The field responds instantly to this unified command. Spontaneous healings, which medical science calls miracles, are simply the result of a conscious observer aligning perfectly with the reality of wholeness, bypassing the illusions of time and disease. Your biology is a slave to your quantum observation. The exact same principle applies to financial abundance. Wealth is not a pile of paper or digital numbers in a bank. Wealth is a specific frequency of energy in the quantum field. If you observe money as something scarce, hard to get, and outside of yourself, you create an impenetrable barrier between the observer and the observed wealth. You push it away with your very desire for it, because the desire is rooted in the belief that you do not have it. Integration requires you to observe yourself as already abundant. You must feel the frequency of wealth as an intrinsic part of your being, completely independent of your current bank balance. When your internal state of abundance becomes more real to you than the external illusion of lack, the universe has no choice but to reorganize the physical environment to match your new integrated frequency. The money will flow to you through avenues you could never have predicted. Your relationships are also a direct mirror of this internal integration. If you are deeply fragmented, you will constantly attract partners and friends who reflect that division. You will experience betrayal, misunderstanding, and conflict because your subconscious is projecting a reality of separation. The people in your life are simply actors playing the roles you have assigned to them through your quantum observation. If you want to change your relationships, you must stop trying to change the other person. That is trying to manipulate the mirror instead of changing the source. You must heal the split within yourself. When you achieve inner unity, when the observer and the observed are bathed in self-love and coherence, your external relationships will magically transform. The people around you will either shift their behavior to match your new frequency, or they will gracefully exit your reality, making room for those who resonate with your wholeness. It is entirely normal to experience resistance as you begin this process. Your logical mind, addicted to the old patterns of separation, will try to convince you that this is just mystical nonsense. It will demand proof before it changes its belief. But the quantum field demands belief before it provides the proof. You must be willing to step into the dark, to trust the unseen architecture of reality, and to hold your new frequency even when everything in the physical world seems to be falling apart. Often, right before a massive quantum leap, your reality will experience a temporary phase of intense chaos. This is called the extinction burst. It is the old matrix of your previous observations collapsing in on itself to make space for the new architecture. Do not let this chaos trick you into separating again. Stand firm as the neutral, integrated observer. The storm will pass, and the new reality will crystallize. Every time you successfully navigate this process, your power as a conscious creator expands exponentially. You begin to operate less from the dense, slow laws of Newtonian physics, and more from the instantaneous, magical laws of quantum mechanics. You realize that the entire universe is simply a canvas for your consciousness. There is no external authority dictating your fate. There is no random luck. There is only the exact mathematical reflection of your internal state of integration. The observer effect is not just a scientific theory, it is the user manual for human existence. By mastering it, you are fulfilling your ultimate destiny. You are waking up from the dream of separation and taking your rightful place as the conscious orchestrator of the cosmos. The power has always been in your hands, waiting for you to simply stop dividing your own mind. So the next time you feel out of alignment, the next time reality tries to tickle you and shock you into submission, remember the truth. Take a deep breath, pull your awareness back into your center, and recognize the illusion. You are not the victim of the event, you are the source of it. And because you are the source, you possess the absolute authority to transmute it. Merge the creator and the experiencer into one seamless, radiant point of light. When the observer and the observed become indistinguishable, the entire universe bows to your frequency. You will walk through the world, not as a fragile human hoping for the best, but as a sovereign quantum being, collapsing waves of infinite potential into a masterpiece of a life. The fix is not found anywhere out there. The fix is the realization that out there is simply a reflection of the magnificent, unified creator that you are right now. And this is the ultimate culmination of your awakening. You are not a person existing in reality. You are reality itself, observing itself from a unique, beautiful vantage point. When you finally stop separating the observer from the observed, when you stop trying to tickle yourself and act surprised by the outcome, your true power is unleashed. You become the unbroken circle. You become the master of the quantum field. Thank you for joining me in this transmission today. If this knowledge shifted something deep within you, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like to support this frequency. To anchor your new state of integration into the quantum field right now, I want you to write this exact phrase in the comments below. I am the observer and the creator of my reality. I will see you in the next video. But before you go, tell me, what specific signs or synchronicities have you noticed in your life recently that prove your manifestation power is growing?